While the rest of America sat in gas lines and watched their economy crumble, Texas was drilling straight into prosperity. The 1973 oil embargo that paralyzed the nation handed Texas the winning lottery ticket. Oil prices jumped from $3 a barrel to $12 almost overnight. Wells that barely broke even on Monday were printing money by Friday. Roughnecks cashed signing bonuses and drove off in Cadillacs. The decade that broke Detroit built Houston's skyline. Tom Landry's Cowboys won Super Bowls and became America's team. Willie Nelson grew his hair long and turned outlaw country into a movement. Gilley's mechanical bull became more famous than most politicians. You could buy a 4-bedroom house in the suburbs for what a used car costs now. Friday nights, entire towns shut down for high school football. Everyone wore cowboy boots to the office. Whataburger stayed open until 2 a.m. because oil money ran all night. This was Texas in the 70s, the last decade when bigger actually meant better, when swagger had substance, and when an entire state genuinely believed it was unstoppable. October 1973 changed everything. OPEC cut oil exports, and prices quadrupled in weeks. The rest of America panicked. Texas started hiring. The energy crisis that meant rationing and recession everywhere else meant instant wealth in Houston and Midland. Every marginal well in West Texas suddenly became viable. Independent wildcatters who'd been scraping by struck deals worth millions. Banks in Dallas started lending against oil futures, like they were printing their own money. The boom created its own mythology in real time. Guys who'd worked derricks their whole lives were buying ranch land and pickup trucks with cash. Oil and gas became the universal answer to, what do you do? At every party, barbecue, and church social. The petrochemical plants along the Gulf Coast ran 3 shifts. Engineering firms couldn't hire fast enough. Halliburton and Schlumberger expanded so fast they were training new workers in parking lots. Real estate developers followed the oil money into the suburbs, throwing up neighborhoods faster than cities could pave roads to them. The 1979 Iranian Revolution sent prices even higher, extending the party another few years. For the first time in American history, the Sun Belt held the economic cards over the Rust Belt. Northerners who'd spent decades looking down on Texas were suddenly mailing resumes to Houston. Pennzoil Place changed Houston's skyline in 1976. Philip Johnson designed 2 trapezoidal towers sheathed in dark bronze glass that caught the Texas sun and threw it back. This wasn't a regional oil company building a functional headquarters. This was Houston hiring a celebrity architect to make a statement. The city wanted everyone to know it had arrived. One Shell Plaza rose 50 stories. 2 Houston Center went up simultaneously. Allied Bank Plaza started construction before the previous tower topped out. Construction cranes dominated the view from every direction. The Galleria opened in 1970 and became the model for Texas-sized shopping. Ice skating rink included, because why not? Hotels sprouted downtown to house the flood of business travelers. Residential towers followed the office construction. Houston grew with almost no zoning laws, which meant the skyline emerged chaotic but fast. Developers didn't wait for permission. They built, and the city caught up later. NASA's Johnson Space Center gave Houston a second identity beyond oil. Mission Control made the city synonymous with space exploration. When Apollo 13 had a problem, they called Houston. The whole country knew the name. Dallas watched Houston build and decided to do it with more polish. Reunion Tower's geodesic sphere opened in 1978, instantly recognizable, impossible to miss. The observation deck and rotating restaurant weren't just functional. They were democratic luxury. accessible to anyone willing to pay admission. Thanksgiving Square appeared in 1976, a modernist urban oasis designed to prove Dallas understood sophistication. IMP's City Hall plans were already circulating. North Park Center represented high-end mall culture done right, art installations alongside department stores. The city positioned itself as Texas's business capital, the place where oil money met finance and insurance. Neiman Marcus wasn't just a store. It was Dallas identity exported nationwide. Banking headquarters rose downtown, while Turtle Creek high-rises brought Manhattan-style apartment living to Texas. This was the alternative vision, not Houston's raw energy and chaotic zoning, but carefully planned growth that wanted respect alongside wealth. Dallas proved you could wear cowboy boots with a three-piece suit and make both work. Ranch-style homes spread across former prairie on quarter-acre lots, sometimes bigger. 4 bedrooms, attached garage, brick veneer, picture window facing the street. Neighborhoods of identical floor plans painted different colors appeared in months. Developers like Trammell Crow reshaped the landscape faster than mapmakers could update their books. The Woodlands broke ground north of Houston in 1974 as a master-planned community, trees and all. Young families bought new construction on single incomes. Teachers, refinery workers, retail managers all became homeowners. Air conditioning made it possible. Central air wasn't luxury, it was survival infrastructure. Homes were designed around it, sealed windows, heavy insulation, thermostats in hallways. Electric bills ran high, but nobody lived in Texas without it. Swimming pools became standard in middle-class backyards. Inside, earth tones dominated. Brown carpet, orange accent walls, wood paneling. Property taxes funded the growth instead of income tax. Speed kept prices reasonable even as demand exploded. The promise that had died in California still worked here. High school football stadiums were the biggest structures in most Texas towns. Friday nights emptied main streets completely. Hardware stores closed early. Restaurants went dark by 7. Everyone migrated to the stadium. Players' families, students, teachers, people without kids who just wanted to watch their town compete. The marching band was elaborate as most college programs. Drill teams performed routines they'd practiced since summer. Booster clubs sold barbecue plates and Dr. Pepper from concession stands. Local radio broadcasters called plays for anyone who couldn't make it. Monday morning's newspaper dedicated the front page to game coverage. This wasn't entertainment. It was how communities organized their identity. Coaching legends like Gordon Wood at Brownwood built programs that lasted decades. Odessa Permian and Plano developed reputations that extended statewide. Football offered meritocracy. Talent mattered more than last names. Working-class kids earned college scholarships by performing under those lights every autumn Friday. Roger Staubach took the snap, rolled right, and launched the ball 50 yards downfield. Drew Pearson caught it, despite being shoved. The 1975 playoff game against Minnesota created the phrase, "Hail Mary," that's still used today. The Cowboys didn't just win games, they created moments that became national vocabulary. Tom Landry stood on the sideline in his fedora, stoic as a monument, while his team won Super Bowls in the 72 and 78 seasons. The cheerleaders in their iconic uniforms revolutionized sports entertainment, turning sideline performance into its own industry. Texas Stadium opened in Irving in 1971 with a hole in the roof, which locals claimed let God watch his favorite team. When NFL Films called them America's team in 1978, the label stuck because it was already true. Monday Night Football made the star logo familiar in every living room. The Cowboys represented Texas values, packaged for mass consumption: competition, excellence, showmanship without apology. Middle America embraced them while rejecting California counterculture. This was the team that made cowboy mythology modern, profitable in prime time. Willie Nelson returned to Texas after Nashville rejected him, grew his hair past his shoulders, and recorded Red-Headed Stranger in 1975. The album made him a crossover success by ignoring every rule Nashville enforced. His 4th of July picnic started in 1973 at Dripping Springs, drawing 40,000 people to what locals called Woodstock, Texas style. Waylon Jennings joined the movement. Their 1976 album, Wanted, the Outlaws, became country music's first platinum record. Austin's Armadillo World Headquarters became the venue where cosmic cowboys, Western wear mixed with long hair, and countercultural attitudes proved you could be country without being conservative. Austin City Limits started broadcasting in 1974 from a University of Texas studio, giving national visibility to music that Nashville had dismissed. The show's stripped-down production emphasized performance over spectacle, booking Willie alongside Townes Van Zandt and Asleep at the Wheel. This wasn't rebellion for its own sake. It was Texas finding its own path between tradition and freedom, creating space where hippies and ranchers occupied the same dance floor without irony. Austin City Limits did what PBS wasn't supposed to do. It made educational television cool. Studio 6A at the University of Texas became hallowed ground, where Willie Nelson's pilot episode proved Texas music deserved national attention. The show's innovation was stripping everything down to what mattered: musicians performing without gimmicks or overproduction. Terry Licona and Bill Arhos booked acts that ignored genre boundaries, mixing established stars with emerging artists nobody outside Texas had heard of. Jerry Jeff Walker performed alongside blues musicians and folk singers. The camera work was simple, the staging minimal, the focus relentless on the sound itself. What started as a regional PBS experiment became the longest-running music series in television history because it documented something real: Austin's identity as the place where creativity mattered more than commercial formulas. By the late 70s, musicians across the country knew that playing Austin City Limits meant something, that the Texas audience understood music as more than background noise. Gilley's opened in Pasadena in 1970, claiming 48,000 square feet, made it the world's largest honky-tonk. Mickey Gilley and Sherwood Cryer built more than a bar. They created an entertainment complex with a mechanical bull, punching bags, pool tables, and a dance floor that fit hundreds. Oil workers and refinery crews from the Houston Ship Channel filled it nightly, spending boom money on beer and two-stepping. The mechanical bull became famous after Esquire writer Aaron Latham visited and wrote the article that became Urban Cowboy. John Travolta and Deborah Winger filmed there in 1979, and when the movie released in 1980, it exported blue-collar Texas culture nationwide. Suddenly, suburban bars everywhere installed mechanical bulls. Western wear became fashion. Country music crossed to pop charts. Boot sales exploded. Pearl snap shirts weren't costumes, they were office wear. Cowboy boots went with jeans, suits, and shorts without anyone questioning it. Wrangler denim was standard issue. Belt buckles, big ones, silver ones, engraved ones, served as jewelry and conversation starters. Felt hats in winter, straw after Easter, no exceptions. This was Texas identity worn daily. not performance saved for special occasions. Sheplers and Cavenders sold entire wardrobes built around Western aesthetics. Justin, Tony Lama, and Nocona boots indicated quality through stitching details only other Texans recognized. Custom boot makers operated as artisans, charging thousands for made-to-order pairs. How you wore it mattered more than what you bought. Hat angle, boot toe shape, buckle size, all signaled whether you understood the code. Women's Western wear became fashionable through rodeo queens and drill teams, dresses with yokes, and fringe appearing at church and school functions. This was how you announced Texas belonging anywhere in the country. The Ford F-150 parked outside the office building wasn't ironic. Extended cabs turned trucks into family vehicles. Automatic transmissions made them practical for anyone, and air conditioning solved the summer problem. Men drove pickups to desk jobs because owning one meant something beyond transportation. It signaled readiness for work, even if you never hauled anything heavier than groceries. It connected suburban life to rural heritage. It performed masculine identity when gender roles were shifting everywhere else. Lift kits and oversized tires became common modifications. Gun racks, often empty, mounted in rear windows as standard accessories. Brand loyalty divided along Ford versus Chevy lines that felt nearly political. High school parking lots showcased truck culture as clearly as any ranch. The boom economy made them affordable for working and middle class alike. And because trucks held value and ran forever, they doubled as sensible investments and identity statements worn daily on Texas roads. Lockhart barbecue joints operated like meat markets. Butcher paper, cafeteria lines, post oak smoke, no sauce necessary. Central Texas kept it simple: salt, pepper, brisket. East Texas went heavy on sauce and pork. You drove an hour on Saturday because that specific pit was worth it. Tex-Mex wasn't Mexican food. It was its own category: cheese-heavy and beef-focused. Combination plates standard at every family-run restaurant in every neighborhood. Chicken fried steak appeared on every menu from truck stops to diners. Cube steak breaded and fried, covered in cream gravy, acceptable for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Whataburger's orange and white A-frame buildings stayed open all night because oil money and high school football games ended late. The portions were large because generosity meant quantity, and nobody ordered small when Texas-sized was available for another 50 cents. Wildcatters struck oil and walked into Cadillac dealerships the same afternoon. Oil wives walked into Neiman Marcus without checking price tags. Private planes appeared at local airports, purchased by men who'd worked derricks 3 years earlier. Weekend cattle ranches sold to executives who wanted the performance of ranching without the work. The 1970s created a new money class overnight. Working class backgrounds suddenly flush with cash and zero old money restraint on spending. Gold Rolex watches, custom boots costing thousands, diamond belt buckles, fur coats in Texas heat. Highland Park mansions and River Oaks estates went up with square footage as the primary bragging point. Swimming pools and tennis courts became standard amenities. The Bubba millionaire kept his pickup truck but added the Lincoln Continental. He wore boots with expensive suits and donated 6 figures to his high school football program. Wealth worn visibly because hiding it seemed dishonest, like denying the boom was real. Mission control made Houston synonymous with space exploration. The Johnson Space Center brought engineers and astronauts to subdivisions around Clear Lake, adding technical professionals to a state known for roughnecks and ranchers. When Apollo 13 radioed, "Houston, we have a problem," the phrase entered permanent vocabulary. Throughout the decade, NASA developed the Space Shuttle program, while Texas kids grew up with astronauts as neighbors, visible at local restaurants and school events. Space-themed street names and businesses sprouted across the area. The combination of oil derricks and rocket launches gave Texas dual identities, frontier past and technological future existing simultaneously. Pride ran deep because NASA proved Texas belonged in conversations about innovation, not just extraction. The state wasn't abandoning cowboy mythology. It was adding engineers to the narrative, proving you could drill for oil and reach for orbit without contradiction. The boom didn't reach everyone. Black communities and Mexican Americans worked service jobs, while white men held executive positions at oil companies. Border towns saw little prosperity, despite geographic proximity to wealth. Fifth Ward in Houston and South Dallas remained poor, while suburbs exploded with new construction. Desegregation battles continued through courtrooms and school boards. Housing discrimination kept minority families out of booming suburbs, regardless of income. The volatility underneath the confidence showed in over-leveraged bank loans and real estate speculation that assumed prices only moved one direction. Petrochemical refineries along the Gulf Coast created air quality problems and cancer clusters that wouldn't be studied for decades. Houston's lack of zoning meant chaotic development and serious traffic problems emerging faster than infrastructure could adapt. The economy depended almost entirely on oil prices controlled by foreign governments. When those prices eventually dropped in the 80s, banks failed, real estate collapsed, and "see you in Houston" became the joke people told while leaving. But in the 70s, nobody wanted to hear warnings. The confidence felt earned, the growth looked permanent, and Texas genuinely believed it had cracked the code that left other states behind.